Welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm David.
I'm Gary.
Today we're talking about yesterday's nasty old fish.
Yes, there's nothing quite as old as yesterday's fish as someone
wrapped in yesterday's news, no less.
Yes. We're going to read on Trump's big, beautiful budget bill. And I was telling David that Elon Musk was being very critical of it, saying that basically it's going to raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. We're going to be we're going to be slaves to the debt. And that he's really encouraging people to reach out to their congressman and tell them to reject this budget bill. And Dave was saying,
Elon doesn't matter anymore. They got his money.
Yeah.
And they're all the Republican Congress people are enslaved to Donald Trump because, they act like there's not going to be any elections in the future. Therefore, they don't need Elon's money.
Yeah.
To which I say, Elon, if you are sitting on any information that would seem to indicate that there was manipulation going on in 2024, you might want to consider cutting yourself a deal.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't like where the government's going with this, you have the power to do something about it. Probably from a unique position that the rest of us don't have.
Yes, but you may have been in the room where it happened.
That's right.
You may know.
You've got so much money, you could probably negotiate a sweetheart deal where you get a minor slap on the wrist while everybody else goes to prison.
Yes.
Come on, be the hero that you want us to think you are.
Dave's putting out a video that will have come out on Monday. This video will probably come out on Tuesday.
Everything is recorded on Sunday the 29th here. My video and this one.
Yeah, so on Saturday around midnight or Sunday morning, depending on where you are in the world, the Senate voted to go ahead and debate the big, beautiful budget bill on the Senate floor and ultimately to vote on it. And then if it passes the vote in the Senate, it goes back to the House for their approval. And if it gets through the House, then it goes to Trump. And Trump wants to sign this big, beautiful budget bill by Friday, July the 4th.
And then they can all go home.
Yeah, all the work is done.
And avoid their constituents.
Yes. So we could do a reading on the energy around that and see where this is going.
Sounds like
and Dave's video, I haven't seen it. I just know from some of his reactions, it's going to be spicy. So, of course, this will come out after, but yeah, make sure you've taken some Tums or something because it's going to be spicy.
I'm going to throw something out there because we let off about nasty day old fish and wrapped in day old newspaper. And Gary, he didn't really fully understand this until we've done this channel for a while. I saw it with my channel. Our videos have a shelf life of about 12 to 18 hours.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We've got a couple that have longer legs, but yeah, after about 48 hours, there's no activity at all.
I think the term we're looking for is parabolic. So, you'll see the curve it goes up at an angle and then it starts bending and flattens out. Pretty much after 24 hours, like let's say one of our videos gets 7,000 views.
Yeah.
We will get 7,000 views the first day and then maybe like 500 views the next day and about 100 views the third day and like a smattering of views after that. So it's good for about the first 12 to 18 hours. That's where 90% of the views come from. And then
you get some crumbs. We've had a couple readings that hit 100,000. And those kept going,
Every once in a while, you get one where it starts paralleling off, and then it shoots up again. Libby or Linda G said something about it, and then this next wave of people comes over, and then like the YouTube algorithm says, "Oh, wow, more people want to see this. Let's kick it out to the Republicans out there and see if they want to see it. And then the fun really begins.
Yeah, that's when I know we've got a good video, when I start seeing the pro-Trump, pro-MAGA comments coming through.
You guys don't know what you're talking about. You're a bunch of soy boys.
Yeah, and it's funny because, half of them are from our mom, and the other half is from
I know, right?
She's such to watch the damn video.
She's such a troll. Then it's like, then she gets like to the historical society and the women's club and gets them to get their burner troll accounts out there and troll us.
It's so funny. Yeah, exactly. All these old ladies getting really upset.
To counteract our audience who supports us.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, what was this reading on again? Oh, the Senate and the budget bill.
We're going to look at the big, beautiful bill. How is this going to look through the Senate and through the House? And then just is Trump going to get his little July 4th birthday present?
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here. Let's just look at the energy of the BBB. You got the two of coins as the foundation. Juggling, trying to meet the deadlines, watching the the budget savings go down. It'll probably parallel somebody's career too. Crossed with the Seven of Cups, the lack of integrity. Let's just focus on the good stuff. We gave tax breaks to the wealthy. There's going to be a realization here that comes from this. It's going to be hard for them to sell that to the public. Excuse me. In the past, you got the Seven of Coins. The Republicans, here's where we go. You know what it's defining? It's defining the Republicans. Their brand messaging is going down, and people are going to see the hypocrisy here. How they sell themselves, they're false friends to the average citizen. They've sold themselves as folks concerned about the budget and being fiscally conservative, but instead they've betrayed their own constituents. They're taking away money from the poor and giving to the rich in the most antithesis of the Robin Hood fashions. Overarching injuries, the hangman, they're throwing their constituents under the bus, and they own it. They have to own it. They took these actions. They had the ability to stop it. They chose not to. And this is the government the way it is. This is the GOP the way it is. People are not going to like it, and they're going to probably take some external action with it. They're taking away people's. They're harming their own constituents. I can't put it really any other way. They're harming their own constituents, but it's got to be their constituents who figure it out and do something about it.
Yep. Okay. So let's see how well is Trump going to get this big, beautiful bill by July the 4th?
Hold on.
We know it's going to be nasty.
Nasty like your butt.
Yeah, that is pretty nasty. Okay, so there's the underneath card for you. So is he going to get it by July the 4th? Okay, so you got the King of Cups. All right, so this is about people just calming the heck down. This is just simply a budget. We just need to get it passed. Don't get all excited.
Can I jump in again? Yeah, I've also seen. I think I've seen Libby or somebody else read this card as emotional immaturity.
Oh,
so think of the toddler wanting his big beautiful bill approved when he wants it approved.
Yeah, that's true. We always read it right side up if it's reversed.
Man, baby.
Yeah, I want my bill.
Yeah, exactly. I promised myself you'd have it done here. You have to give it to me or else.
I'm going to soil my diaper again.
Maybe I'll hold my breath until I turn blue.
The challenge is the Queen of Swords. This is kind of an interesting card considering what Dave said in our video that came out yesterday about Libby's insight, which is the queens are internal energies, the kings are kind of external actions. So each senator, each congressman, they know the truth about this.
Mm-hmm.
Trump wants his big, beautiful bill. They know the real truth, and they know the consequences of it. The non-MAGA senators, the non-MAGA Congress people, they completely understand what it is they're voting for. They know what the truth of this is. But underneath it is they're out there, they're going to take away, they're going to hurt their constituents. The spy in the camp, they realize what it is they're voting for and how it's going to take things away from the people back home.
It's almost like they feel like there'll be no consequences. Like they're going to get away with this.
Yeah.
Well, the public's got such a short memory. We'll just give them something else to clutch their pearls about. They'll completely forget that they have no Medicaid coverage anymore.
Well, and to your point, there's a lot of stuff in there that doesn't kick in until after 2026.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, pull up for a second. You ever notice that all if there's any benefit to the working person, like the no tax on tips, which is actually a tax credit on tips and a tax credit on overtime, they always expire in 2028. Just as Trump and the GOP are out of office, then those benefits go away, so that if the Democrats win and they get in the office in 2029, you have to pay tax on your tips and you have to pay tax on your overtime again. So that's clearly the Democrats' fault that you got some benefit for 2 or 3 years, then you lose that benefit. It's done purposely.
Okay. So there's your 7 of Swords underneath it. In the past, you got the 2 of Wands. Taking actions, looking in the future, we can take actions that benefit people. We can take actions that benefit dear leader. Current energy is the Moon card. So just a truth that can be revealed. We're not sure. There's confusion. They're not sure what's going to happen from this. You've got the Senate and you got the House. They're just banging at the moon. This is that they're probably going to vote for it, but they don't know what the outcome is going to be, what the downline ramifications will be from it. Overarching energy is the Knight of Swords. You went too fast. You were too reckless. You were too willing to charge forward. You knew the truth about this, but you just simply didn't care because dear leader wanted this on his desk for July 4th so he can make some patriotic signature on something.
Harumph.
Lesson to be learned is the Ace of Cups. When you approve this, there are going to be a lot of people that are very unhappy when they start to realize what you have done to them. And you really need to take people's emotions and feelings into account when you are making these types of decisions. But they feel they have no other path forward. We have to do it because dear leader wants it.
I'm cackling because as I was reading through my interpretation of your reading there. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention as you're reading to it, which is why I didn't interrupt you about a bazillion times. Guess what? You're stuck. As I look at that one, it's like, okay, you've made your bed. You saw this day coming. You voted for it. You have no idea what's going to come out of it, and you're stuck owning it. You voted for it. You own it. You don't know what the fallout's going to be.
That's right.
Exactly. Good luck.
Maybe you could throw some cards on the fallout.
Well, first off, this bill's going to get passed. It's going to go to the House. They're going to hem and haw about it, but they're going to vote for it. They're going to go snip Trump's butt and vote for it, and then hooray, we're a bunch of patriots. We got it done by July 4th. Hooray! And then the fun starts. But yeah. And again, as Gary pointed out, a lot of the worst things don't really kick into effect until after the elections in 2026. So that's how they insulate themselves. The worst things happen like in the beginning of 2027 or after, October of 2026. Is that true? Because the budget starts in October 1st, right?
Yeah,
Is that how this works?
I believe so.
So unless they made it October 1st, 2027, it's going to start on October 1st, 2026.
Yeah, but if the elections are in November, there's not a lot of time for people to realize what the hell they just got. What happened to them.
And that's what I want to read. Is that 1 month enough?
Yeah.
Because it's literally, they're going to start finding out. They won't have lived it, 6 months down the road when they can't get their insulin inexpensively anymore, when they're denied coverage, when they can't afford health insurance, when the health insurance is denied and they have no avenue to protest it. Their SNAP programs have been cut, so on and so forth. The elections have already happened. Will there be enough backlash, fallout, realization prior to the elections to make a difference? You got the Six of Swords, Justice card, Seven of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the Two of Swords.
Boy, that Seven of Swords is showing up on every single reading.
Yeah, it's. My initial reaction is no. I'm hoping it's because they've already found out what's been taken away from them. But I get the feeling like they're only just starting to find out. It's because it's like the news, the folks they get their news from haven't told them really what's about to happen, what's been taken away. Because it's like that budget got passed last year and the Democrats said it was the worst thing ever and nothing got taken away, so they don't know what they're talking about. But again, it's kind of the Justice and the Hangman. They're going to find out, and this is just what they voted for. So I'm not excited by the thought that they will find out prior to the election in 2026. I don't see this big wave coming. I really just think that unless you've shown that certain things happened in 2024 that are in the legal system that make you look at the election differently, they're not gonna see this because they haven't suffered the pain of it. They're not given the information. They don't believe the information that's out there. They don't have the intellectual curiosity to go seek out information. They don't have the critical thinking skills to process that information and then realize they're the ones screwed in this whole process. Because it's all about Team Red is much, much greater than Team Blue.
Yeah.
Joy.
So until they go visit their representative at H&R Block or they go to their pharmacist, they're not going to.
Finish your thought. They're
not going to realize until someone who they have a personal relationship with tells them exactly what they just did to themselves.
Yeah, literally. Like, oh, that's not true. That's not what this was going to happen. Yeah, we'll go to Walgreens and go to Home Goods Pharmacy or whatever. Just as a thought exercise here.
Okay. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I know, right? It doesn't involve reading cards. What happens to society when you go anti-Robin Hood and you take money from the poor and you give it to the wealthy and you take away their health care and you start eating away at their future? Go for it.
I know. You get Russia.
Yeah, really. Do people lose hope?
Yeah.
Yeah, because what's your outlook looking like? You're sick, underpaid. Work overtime. Oh, great. So I get to work 14, 16 hours a day trying to keep my head above water to pay for health care that I otherwise had covered on the Affordable Care Act type of thing. And what happens when people lose hope or optimism for the future?
They live for the day.
Boy, you are not on the same page with me with this one.
Well, I think, are you going French Revolution?
Yeah, that's the outcome of it.
Yeah.
What do you think happens to radicalization of people?
Oh yeah.
Radicalized people are the ones that have given up all hope on everything. There's no hope. There's no positive future here. So what do you have left? Unrequited anger, which is a breeding ground for radicalization.
Oh yeah.
And who are they going to point them towards? The Democrats?
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
It's going to go after the wealthy people. Why do you steal from somebody who's got nothing when you see that guy in the mansion on the hill that's got everything?
Yeah.
Why aren't you going after him? He's got all the goods.
Yeah.
And what are you going to spend those goods for? Food, medicine.
Yeah, well, it's also the American oligarchs not playing the tape all the way through. Is if you keep taking the money away from your customers, there's no one there to buy your goods because they don't have any money.
Let's put it in a simpler example. Let's say there's mass famine throughout the United States, and you know that the guy with the mansion up on the hill has been hoarding canned goods and food, and they've got stockpiles in their cellar.
Yeah.
And you're out there, scrubbing the ground, eating bugs in grass because you've run out of stuff to eat.
Yeah.
Are you just going to say, "Oh, that's my lot in life is to starve to death"? Or are you going to look at that guy on the hill that you've heard tales that he's got cellars full of food and think, "You know what? What do I got to lose? I know where the food is."
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
the most dangerous person is someone who has nothing left to lose.
Exactly. You get the villagers with their pitchforks and their torches going up to Mr. Dracula's castle there, demanding that the food be shared. Yeah. And it's not going to go really well when they say, "Get out of here, it's my food." Yeah. You'll run out of bullets before we run out of people.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The zombie apocalypse.
Anyways, thank you for watching this video. It's
nice uplifting finish to that one. Yeah, if you like these videos, give it a thumbs up. If you believe in the zombie apocalypse, give that a thumbs up. Subscribe and hit the bell. We'll wake you up at midnight with this video. And leave a comment and read them all, respond to many.
Okay, and then we also offer special shout outs and cards for the people that get said shout outs. Usually we call this the Miss Marianne Ignored Us Club. We all feel so rejected. Yeah, we really should watch the end of several Romper Room episodes to see what name she was actually calling out.
I've actually looked at one or two. It was funny watching the special effect. It's like, oh my God, I totally forgotten how the special effect look until you rewatch it. It's like, oh yeah. So let's give a shout out to Shelly because she's clearly wants to be a part of this whole.
She's rocking the "Don't Blame Me, I Voted for Bill and Opus" T-shirt. She's probably had that one for 40 years.
There she is.
I had to show it because it's so applicable today.
It is
amazing.
Absolutely
it really is
on point.
I've had this since I was in middle school.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they came out that soon.
Oh, really?
That's got to be.
Yeah, that was a high school
High
thing.
school? All right. High school. I'll take it.
You're the same height.
Yeah, she hasn't grown. And it still fits.
Let's give a shout out to some of the folks in the comments. And you're going to like the first one, Blind Squirrel. Hi, Blind Squirrel.
Hey, Blind Squirrel. Hope you find a nut. Yay! Lots of nuts.
Yes.
All the nuts.
And then we're Dragonfly Damsel. What a great name.
I just gave you the bottom of the deck. Three of cups.
Man,
celebrate.
And then how about Allison Crouch, also very prolific in the comments section.
Allison Crouch.
Thank you so much.
A friend of the channel. Feed that algorithm.
Yes, and then card for the rest of us. Ooh.
Yes, please.
Upside down. I'll turn it right side up. The
Upside
King of Pentacles.
down.
Yeah, that rich guy up on the hill. If he's got the pantry full of food, you know where to go looking.
Play the tape all the way through, folks. It's like that's a mistake. It's a huge mistake. But if we're out of balance, the world will balance itself. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.
Take care, folks. Bye.